This ain't a trend. This is how we eat. Table, just steak on the plate, salt on the blade, yeah, I season my fate. They talk balance, I talk real fuel. Fat hit the fire, now break the walls. No labels, no grains, no lies in the bite. Blood stay warm when the iron hits white. Ask me the plan, I don't count, I don't weigh. I eat one strong, let the weak debate. No sugar rush, no crash phase, just meat and salt. Steak on the fire, salt on my hands. Carnivore diet, I know who I am. Steak on the fire, stand when I'm fed. Cut all the noise, this is how I'm bred. Hey, hey, They say moderation, I say watch me thrive. No plans in my stomach, just instinct alive. From ribeye mornings to nighttime grind. Fat feet focus, sharp in the mind. You want proof? Look how I move. No slump, no fog, nothing to lose. This ain't a cleanse, ain't a phase, ain't fake. This is bone deep power, steak by steak. So, steak again. Yeah. Steak on the fire, salt on my hands. Carnivore diet, I know who I am. Steak on the fire, built from the fat. Cut all the noise, this is how I'm bred. Eat simple, eat real, eat like it matters. Song. Say it slow. Go! Go!
2 words today. 2 words. Kerrygold butter. And then what the hell is going on? Well, we have got somebody from Ireland to comment on it. If you look on social media right now, there's so many things going this way, that way. We're going to get into all things Kerrygold today. The butter, whether it's a conspiracy, we don't know. We're going to talk about it. We've also got to deal with one of Peter's favorite people on the planet. We're going to talk about Jacob Foods and what he's saying. We could just roughly say that the dog won't die. So we're going to get into that, what he has to say. We're going to comment on it. And also we got a really cool episode, or a little snip for Write That Down. We're going to get into it today. Welcome into the meat of the matter, everybody. It's Sunday. We're live. We're here. Let's get into it.
Is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking...
I can't even look at a carbohydrate.
Now that I think about it, we probably would.
You know, that it doesn't make sense.
I was tired of the guessing games, faking health, playing diet names. Low fat life, vegan soul, but deep inside I didn't feel whole. Then came fire, then came fat. Steak on the plate, I bounced right back. No more crashing, no more drag.
You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion.
Looking forward to talking about this recent controversy. I've already been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Your fiber intake is fucking zero.
There is a constant in the calculation.
It is the most toxic fucking diet I have ever seen. Ever. It's not healthy. It is far from fucking healthy. Okay? It is the least fucking healthiest thing you could ever do for yourself.
Well, welcome into the meat of the matter, everybody. We just wanted to say a special shout out to Carnivore Beats. We do a little pre-warm-up, pre-show thing just to give him some exposure. And the tracks that he creates, it's all in the Carnivore framework, a lot of different styles of music. And apparently, Byron's got an album coming out. So please go to his channel, subscribe to Carnivore Beats, Carnivore Beats YT, and follow him all over the place. We do appreciate him. Thank you, Byron, for everything. The Carnivore community, boys, is lighting up. So many new people are joining. They're coming out of the woodwork. They are on Instagram and YouTube. So please, everybody, if you're a carnivore and you're in this community, this is your life, this is your way, go and subscribe to their stuff. It's important. Great conversations all the time with just real people talking meat. It's great. The Village is a chat room. And it lights up, man. It's pretty cool. And don't forget, please follow Mark and Victoria's Carnivore Evolution podcast. They are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the stuff. They have the great conversations one-on-one. It's very cool and necessary as well. We are going to have a busy week this week, boys. We not only are live on Sundays, but we have some guests lined up this week, buddy.
We did. We have a few. This is going to be a very, very busy week. Three very, very special guests.
I think we're live Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think.
Okay, cool. And anyway, boys, we are on Spotify now. Just so if anybody wants to listen to us in the car, by all means, we are on Spotify. And, we do this live every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands and in Europe. We appreciate all of you, all the support. And, we're going to get into it today, boys. We got Kerrygold on the plate. First of all,
this is what we're talking about today.
That's probably...
This is going to kill you.
That's right. So anyway, we'll kicking it off, Peter, what's your thoughts, first of all? Let's just go around the table and we'll get to Mark because he's from Ireland. So he's got close ties. So what are your thoughts so far? We've got some clips lined up, but let's open it up. We can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, beginner mistake. I'm also a bit biased, of course. I'm Dutch, and we produce a lot of dairy here in the Netherlands. Some good butters as well. And if I look at the Netherlands, and no doubt it's similar in Ireland, buy any butter, especially in season, and it's already, for a large part, it's grass-fed, because cows here, they eat grass. In winter, they are, they get additionally some fortified foods, of course, but mostly grains, local rest materials here from the Netherlands. Or if you get slightly better, like hay and that sort of things. So effectively still grass, of course. And a very tiny little bit of soy. Oh. I looked it up, and it's like, in cows, it's probably like 5% or so. And then it's especially, since we're talking about butter, yes, it is mostly for butter. But so I imagine that if you buy butter in the supermarket, the cheap-ass butter, that you'll get some butter that is from cows that is fed like this. So in winter, they don't get optimal foods. They still go out here in the Netherlands. At least say, I don't know. I think the packages mostly mention like 100 or 150 days per year at least that they go out. So how much of it is true, I don't know. But anyway, you can get reasonable butter already. And there are some good choices that are comparable to Kerrygold already in the supermarket. And if you go local to the farm, you get better stuff, basically. I mean, I like Kerrygold. I buy it a lot. I still do. And one more thing to take into account is that it's our big corporations. So like also the Dutch Campina and Danish Arla. If you buy there, at some point you always run up into these type of details, like certain farms maybe are less grass-fed, and maybe packaging scandals and that sort of things. But in my opinion, Kerrygold, they know their customer base, they know that they are health-minded people, and they pay a little bit more. So if they make true mistakes, like still putting PFAS in their packaging intentionally or just to save money, I think that they are not that stupid. That's my thought, and of course, I'm just looking at it as an outsider, but that's how I look at it.
Yeah, Mark.
Well, the way I see it is this is not new. I mean, this is old news. We were aware of this 2 years ago. This came up in 2023, I think it was, at the end of 2023, around 2024. So this is not new news at all. Now, I agree with Peter. About 90% of this is grass-fed, something like that. It's around 90, something like that. And then, yeah, there's a little bit of 10% in there from like corn and soy. But like I said, this is nothing new. We've been knowing this for a very, very long time. If I read out the ingredients here, right? So the ingredients that's only in this is milk, salt, cream butter, and fats. That's it. Now, the question is simply this. What's the alternative?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
maybe.
and isn't it ironic that, what was it, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, the pyramid was flipped upside down, and they were going absolutely mental. They were demonizing saturated fats. Isn't it ironic that 2 weeks later it's all over social media?
Yeah, well,
isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that because I did some searching on Instagram, and a lot of the big ones I couldn't download, and I don't know if we're gonna get into copyright problems with that, but I took some of the popular videos, and you know, in my opinion, I think I agree with both of you, but it's like when you're looking at a good, better, best situation, and when you're giving your power away to trust a company, you're still like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it this? Well, it's a package, and a package is going to have problems. If you want to talk about bad stuff, why don't they talk about the Starbucks cups that are lined with plastic with coffee in them, saying, you know, like you want to talk about forever chemicals being absorbed. There is so many. This goes deeper than just is or isn't. Like I quite often say, it's like, if you're doing your due diligence, Peter mentioned this too. If you're going direct to the farm and you're talking to the farmer and you're talking to the source and you're acquiring their goods from that standpoint, that is, you know, ultimate trust and ultimate. But whenever we're buying stuff from another country, from another thing, what do you think is happening? And now,
exactly, yeah,
I think this is what Mark was saying. Isn't it funny how it's borderline hit piece? Like, that's where I'm kind of like, okay, well, you know, I know 2 years ago there was something with the packaging. I don't know if they fixed it or not. I can't get Kerrygold butter in Canada for some stupid reason. I don't know why. But I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. When I go down to the States, I buy it and bring it back. But it's what these issues are. It's like, it seems like they're just projecting it. If you go to Instagram and search Kerrygold butter, there's 1 million views on this news piece from a news company. And how does that get 1 million? And, you know, Mark, you commenting on it gets like, you know, 300-400 views.
Exactly. And can I just add one more point? Sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
But when you buy your meats in the shop, right? When you look at the ingredients, it will say on the back of the packet, it's 90% protein.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice that? Like, if you're buying a chicken fillet, it'll say 90% chicken protein, and the rest is all this list of ingredients. Now, there's ingredients in there that probably the average person wouldn't have a clue. But I can tell you right now, in my local supermarket, because I only seen this yesterday, I can buy a chicken fillet. Okay, there's dextrose in these chicken fillets. You know what I mean? Now, as I said, nobody would know what this is. Nobody has a clue what dextrose is.
Yeah.
Now, surely this is going to cause a problem than this is.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter just mentioned this, that he uses this a lot. Peter, how do you feel after this?
Great.
Do you know?
I eat
that's
like
what I'm saying. Do you
a
notice?
sometimes.
Yeah, but do you notice any gut issues or pains or inflammation or anything like that at all?
But the thing is, it's the same with meat, right? If you buy it in the supermarket, it's already 10 times better than buying junk.
Yeah,
And we know that if it says grass-fed here in the Netherlands, you have a special term that's like pastured, so quasi-pastured. It's not a protected term, and you know that they just say it, and they can say it because, well, the cows go outside already
Yeah.
for like 2/3 of the year, or maybe not 2/3, but anyway, it's not a protected term. So if you buy grass-fed, also in the States, I've seen a video from Dr. Burke talking
That's
about
it,
this.
yeah.
And you can imagine that it's like this, of course. I mean, if you can find grass-fed and grass-finished meat in every supermarket in big quantities, then of course it's not going to be that ultimate quality grass-fed beef that you get from the local farm. Because
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the most important thing is we know that you should, like Tony mentioned this all the time. We need to make sure we're questioning everything, including the food that's in our shops.
Yeah.
But like I said, what is the other alternative? Because when you look at foods like this, if you're consuming this and you're lucky enough to have dairy in your diet and it's causing no problems whatsoever, I just don't see what the issue is. I really don't. And this says on it. It says milk from Irish grass-fed cows. That's what it says on it. Okay. And like I said, this is around 90% organic, around 90 to 95% organic. As I said, there might be 1 or 2 ingredients in there that shouldn't be in there. That's fair enough. But when you look at the food pyramid, this is another example. Look at the food pyramids. And this goes to show you who we're still controlled by these companies. Because look what they've done with saturated fats. Okay. So if it was all about the powers to be, where we flipped the pyramid around and we were successful, which we were, then how come we weren't successful with saturated fats? Because it doesn't make any sense when you're telling people to have 10% saturated fat. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that tells me that the corporations were jumping in here and saying, well, listen, okay, we're going to follow your rules here, but you're still doing this. You still have to go by what we say.
There's one thing, Mark, that I would like to add to what you were saying about how do you make choices in the shop. And I'm going to show the peanut butter here again, but I'm also going to talk about coffee. If you buy it, you can buy the plain peanut butter, you can buy organic, or you can go a step further and buy it, well, even the peanut butter probably, but for coffee it's easy. You can buy it directly from a specific source, right? The single origin coffee. But anyway, if I have to make a choice in the supermarket, I'm going to choose the organic version, maybe single origin if they have it. But yeah, in many cases it's not available. And then there are all kinds of scandals because it's a bulk product. Also, these peanuts, they are transported across the globe in big quantities. So who knows that maybe half of this is actually not even organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what is the choice that I'm going to make? I'm going to look which companies I trust, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is actually maybe not the best one. This is Calveus Unilever. But anyway, I am going to assume at least a certain level of truth. So I'm going to choose the organic version instead of the non-organic version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put my bets on that one.
Yeah, and any time, like since I've been on my sort of health journey, health path, and you're learning these things, it's actually very frightening when you realize that all the companies are designed to make money. So when you're trying to make money in spite of somebody's health, that's where all these people are. All these companies are looking for loopholes. There's organic loopholes. There's cage-free loopholes, pasture-raised loopholes, grass-fed. Just look at that. Like Max German does a great thing about what is or isn't true, but you can only do your best. And it's one thing to be aware of it, but it's another thing to just be in flat-out denial. Whenever a news company says, "Hey, this is bad," why? What's going on behind the scenes? Why are they making this? We've all heard it. Red meat is bad. Red meat causes type 2 diabetes. Why? Then once you start looking into they don't have your health in mind. They have their money. They have their marketing. They have all these things that are above you, and you're getting sold down the river because you think this company is doing these pure eggs that are free range. Free range means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start looking at that, maybe you can mitigate some stuff. And like Peter was saying, go with what you trust. But if you're so ignorant to think that there's nothing in the food and it's just because they said this is, man, you know, that's the next level of waking up to this shit. And
Yeah, and it's so
100%.
dangerous that if there's a small scandal like this, that you are going to make the choice of, well, then I don't buy it anymore, so I'm going for the alternative, which for butter is,
right,
whatever it is.
Can I just add as well? You look at our milk. How many milks are out there now? You have almond milk, you have almond milk, oat milk, rice milk. There's so many. You look at what people are advised to buy: low-fat milk. Okay, not full-fat milk, low-fat milk. What's in low-fat milk? What did they replace the fats with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like honestly, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it all changed. Everything changed in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody was losing their shit. You seen it? It was all over social media. It's very, very ironic that since we've made these changes, now they're coming after this. And I can guarantee you, this is only the start.
Oh,
they're gonna
for
go
sure.
out, they're gonna come after beef tallow. They're gonna come after red meat. Trust me, this is only the start. Trust me.
And I mean, when you go deeper into like, and all the packaging stuff, like, come on, man, you're drinking a plastic water bottle and you're worried about your butter packaging.
Yeah.
Okay. Like where do you sit here? Like, I mean, I'm aware of a lot of these chemicals and I do what I can to try and mitigate it. But what do you do? What's, you know what I mean? Like, man, every packaging is bad. Our meat is in a supermarket is wrapped in plastic. Your containers are all this way. So where do you draw the line? And, I would assume anything that's directly touching a packaging that's not natural, even paper. How many chemicals does it take to make a pack of paper?
Yeah.
We don't know. So how can you, that's where they just spin it, right?
Yeah. And just one more thing, Pierre, just one more thing. Sorry. I only said this on the video today. Okay. We look at what our fruits and vegetables. So we're told by all the experts all over the world that these are healthy. These are really, really good for you. These should be part of your diet. But nobody goes into detail about glucose. I spoke about this morning. They don't talk about what else is in these foods, like sucrose. And we look at what sucrose is. Sucrose is a table sugar. Okay, it's made from cane sugar. This is what you're putting into your body. Okay, this is what the experts are saying to you, that this is healthy. These are free foods. You can eat as many as you like. You should be eating 5 portions of vegetables and fruits a day. I mean, this is the information that we're getting. So like I said at the very, very beginning, if they're telling us to replace this, what are we going to replace it with? Do we go back to margarine?
Yeah, right.
Is that if we replace saturated fats, what do we do? Do we go back to seed oils?
Yeah, and here's a good example of what people might not know this. Bragg's just take apple cider vinegar, for instance. I've been using apple cider vinegar on and off for 5-6 years. Bragg's has been around like, decades, if not generations, as the organic sort of that real wholesome vinegar. What is the ingredients? Apples, water. Okay, that's true. But Bragg's was sold to, I think it was Katy Perry, who uses Bill Gates's Appeals apples, and the water is from California. Yeah, that is true. It's apples and water, but it's not the same anymore. So what do you do? Like, and that's something that I think they should tell you, like, oh, by the way, these apples are being used with a spray that coats the apple, like, but they don't have to. And that's the laws involved. Like we're putting our trust in not only the companies, but the powers that be to regulate it. They don't have to tell you things. You better be. It's not surprising when all of a sudden, look at recalls. Like, do you think they do it on purpose? I don't know. Sometimes maybe.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you need to question this and say, do these people have your best interest? Yeah. You really do, because you only need to look at, like you said, Tony. Look at all the foods in the world now, even the alcohol. Look who they're sponsored by. Yeah, they're sponsored by all these amazing celebrities that we all look up to. These people are getting paid fortunes for this. Yeah. Fortunes. Do you honestly think these people give a shit about your health? Yeah. They only care about the numbers that are going into their bank. Yeah. They do not give a shit about your health. They don't have a clue what this food is going to do to you, these drinks are going to do to you. They don't give a shit. Like, this is what we're up against. It's crazy.
And I mean, absolutely crazy. Realistically, when I look at it from a Canadian perspective, and I'm looking at Kerrygold, like, I want to eat local butter. I would love to be able to, and I do. I try to get, but then the economics come into play. Why is it cheaper for me to get New Zealand grass-fed butter than it is for a farm down the street? That is ridiculous, and that's something else that people don't. We're all tight. We're all on budgets because of the world, the way the world is. We have to ask these questions, and it's
And I'd say that there, right? That there now has gone up to €3.20.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can get Kerrygold spread. That's 50% seed oil for half the price.
Yeah.
How much are you talking about in terms of butter weight for this €3? That's not
I'm not
that's
sure.
not
I'm not
half
sure.
pound, probably.
It is. It's probably something around that. But I'm just saying that's gone up now. That used to be around €1 like about 3 years ago. So that's gone up nearly 50%, nearly 60% in price, right? Now what they did was this. They were like, okay, we're in a financial crisis at the moment. Everybody's really struggling, really struggling. So we're going to shrink this, okay, to make it look like it's affordable, but we're going to come up with a different product. This is why I don't fully trust this company, because this is why you have to read the label.
Yeah.
Because when I went into the shop and checked the Kerrygold spread, like I said, 50% of it is from canola oil.
And I actually was gonna play something from Eddie Abu. He's like, "Oh, I love this butter," and then he's just like, "What the fuck is this?" And he shows the spread. He's like, "Okay, well, where do they?" Okay, so you take all the shit that you think you know about butter. Look at that from a corporation standpoint. What Mark just said, they had to do this because of money. So where did it, and I'm not saying Kerrygold is good or bad right now. I'm saying there's a company and a corporation that needs to make money. Where do they lie? They put out this product, but they're the health company. Like, you just got to be very careful.
They have to go by safety thresholds and that sort of things. And that's the same with the packaging. So it's interesting that Kerrygold apparently had some PFAS in their packaging. But think about all the other packaging in the supermarkets, the recycled paper, which is full of all kinds of pollutants, and it's everywhere. And then I just took 3 things from my fridge. Here's some lard from my local butcher, packaged in a plastic container. So I don't even know. Maybe he even poured it in while it was still warm. I don't think he does. But then there is this packaging. Well, I would say it's same stuff like Kerrygold uses.
Exactly.
Big chance. But and then here, this is tallow, beef tallow, packaged in this paper, which is it sounds and feels like baking paper.
Yeah.
And it's nice. But anyway, if even a local farmer buys packaging materials, and they'll stop talking immediately. But if they buy packaging materials, they buy it from a big supplier. So same risk.
Yeah, and that's right, man. Like, and that's, you can go deep down this stuff, and then you kind of have to take a leap of faith and draw. Like, man, I would tell you, I know a lot of people who would love to be off grid, making their own shit, growing their own stuff, raising their own animals. But it's right now, the way we're getting this awareness, like, you have to draw the line, and you have to realize, if the powers that be for decades have been trying to pollute us or poison us, now when things start to look good, like Mark was saying at the beginning, they're trying to make you, it's trickery. It's all stuff designed to make you start questioning this stuff.
But that's why, Tony, we have to make sure that we are, like, all 3 of us and those of us that are in the carnivore space, we need to make sure that we're doing these videos, because if we don't, these fuckers are going to take over.
Yeah.
This is when we're in deep shit. Like, if we don't come up with these kind of videos and we don't fight back, and we don't start questioning these things, and we just go by what these people are saying, because we did this before, and where did it get us? Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, what I'm starting to, like, friends, family, clients, even, anytime you hear something, anytime that causes an emotional reaction, like a definite what, that is exactly where they want you. Because it doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as you believe in something absolutely, you are programmable. So every time you hear this information, you need to use discernment and just think about the whole picture. Good, better, best situations, best, worst case scenarios. Like, man, I want to drink all my water from glass. I use San Pellegrino, and that's a deal breaker for me. People say, oh, San Pellegrino. I don't know the source. I don't know anything. All I can do is prefer the glass one, not the plastic one. And why do they have a plastic bottle even? That's I wonder why.
Yeah, money saving.
Right? Yeah. So they know some people will be traditional and the other people will just be like, it's the same product. Oh, but it's cheaper. So it's really important to get a grasp on this stuff. And now more than ever, with this flipping of the food pyramid, with this awareness coming out into the mainstream, there is going to be a huge pushback to try and mitigate the people that are trying to think. And I mean, and that's what it comes down to is you got to do your best, but just use your rational thought, critical thinking.
Yeah, and Lems is saying it, and I agree with that. You can think about all these sources of microplastics. You can filter 100% of your tap water. Here in the Netherlands, the tap water is relatively okay. So what I do is I filter a lot, but I am not meticulous. So if I drink some water in the evening, because I don't have filtered water at the moment, I brush my teeth and all these things. I do the coffee still with the unfiltered water sometimes. But you're going to get it everywhere. If I buy this this package that I showed you, it's packaged in plastic.
Yeah.
But
and we also need to look at the price, Peter. These corporations are not making it easy for people at the moment.
No.
I mean, you look at the price of beef at the moment; it's unbelievably expensive. So people have no choice but to buy crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just can't afford it. So, like I said, this used to be like €1 years ago. People can't afford that anymore now. It's very, very sad to see. Extremely sad to see that people have to rely. Go ahead, Peter, sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering about the butter shelves in Ireland because I imagine, since you have Kerrygold there, that I imagine these big shelves full of Kerrygold as far as you can look. But what else do you have?
Oh, we have everything. There's loads of spreads, and this is the point I'm making. This is never bought. And if it is bought, it's bought from a small population of the country.
Wow.
It's just a small part of the shelf that is.
I would love to see the percentages, but if I'm guessing, I would say in Ireland, maybe around 30% are buying this. And I'd say around 70%.
That's quite good.
And before we get into the first, to react to the clip that we're going to play, I want, there's something that's going on in the world right now, which this is kind of deeper than carnivore, deeper than diet. And it's something that I came across, like psychological warfare, and it's called manufactured consent. So they put something out to get a reaction. They test out the reaction, but that's not the end game. They want to go here, and you get focused on the issue at hand, but eventually they get to what they want by making it okay. Example is lab cloned meat in Canada. This was a big trick. It was not the question, is it good or bad for us? It was, we deserve to know that it's in food. That gives them permission to start labeling it. What do they want? They want to eventually have lab grown cloned meat. So now we're all warmed up to, well, at least they're telling us it's manufactured consent. All of a sudden, it's the boiled frog theory as well. You don't realize what's happening, and you got to be careful because this is marketing tactics. This is psychological. It's way deeper than, you can just label any. The whole egg industry is psychological. Cage free, free run, pasture rate. What do these even mean? You just look at this and go, oh, it must be better than just an egg. And omega-3 eggs. Oh, vegetarian fed eggs. We don't
You look at a box of cereal, Tony. Heart healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. I mean, that says it all. That literally says it all.
And that's a marketing thing as well. Shouldn't something be healthy or not? That's, we want to look at it. Why do they have to label something heart healthy? Think about that. Oh, they want you to think that it's good for your heart to eat, regardless if it is or isn't. They put that on the path. It's the same thing with organic to a point. I mean, there's standards there, but you have to be very careful about your blind faith in whenever something's being marketed. And that's where, you know, who does what. Look at we've done it before. 10 companies own most 75 to 80% of the food, processed food anyway, in the world. Where are these subsidiary companies coming from? So just because somebody says something, man, you have just keep an open mind and don't get sucked into the bullshit. So,
Yeah,
and that includes grass-fed beef. That includes grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything that's in our shops, unless you're getting it on a farm or in a butcher's, you need to question it. You really do. You really, it's because it's at the end of the day, you need to read the labels.
Yeah.
The foods in the shop are not 100% meats. You just need to look at the label. It will say on the back of the label it's 90 to 95% meat, and then you'll get the 5% or 10% of these odd ingredients.
At the same time, Mark, what you say is you have to read the labels, and a lot of people in the comments under my videos, I read it a lot. They think that all the meat. Some meat is, for example, transported to East Europe and then filled with water and additives and then transported back to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And no doubt there was this, there are these stories and maybe it happened, but don't fool yourself and don't be too over, thinking about conspiracies, because adding water, you still have to label it. So it's like below 5%, I think you're allowed to do it. Above it, you have to put it on the packaging.
And another, just before we get to the first clip here, I just don't take it personally. Like we all do it. We all in some way, shape, or form, we take these things personally. Like, oh my God, if you're always on the lookout for, you know, yourself, taking care of yourself, question it and make the best decision you can. Like, don't fall for the bullshit that is, you know, as soon as someone starts speaking absolutely to me, I'm like, why? Why are you, as a matter of facting me? Where do you sit here? And it includes doctors. It includes all this, you know, like all of a sudden there's nothing you can do. You have to take this drug. Really? That's. But
see, that's the problem, Tony. We're all aware of this. We know how it works now. Whereas the average person wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
The average person would not have a clue. They're convinced that these people have our best interests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem right there. Like when you look at what's going on in the world now, if you've got a problem with your health, we have the best dietitians to look after you. If you're struggling, we have the best doctors to look after you as well.
We're going to run this through a test here. And when you're a child and you're in school, what do you think the teacher knows? Everything. Everything that teacher is teaching you, you assume the teacher knows it. You assume that history that you're getting taught, that the teacher knows it. You assume that all these lessons that the teacher is teaching you, it's just the way we are. So all of a sudden, whoops, what do you mean? And I remember nutrition in high school, when foods or whatever it was, foods, carbohydrates. And now going back, I'm like, wow. Not only was my social economics teacher, my cooking teacher telling us nutrition, obese, but it's like, all these light bulbs are going on. Like, wow, if we just got taught to question and be aware, things would be a different ballgame. And that's, you know, that's what I'm starting to realize and this is everything in your life. And I'm sorry for the people that waking up is hard to do, because once you start asking these hard questions and being honest with yourself, it's frightening.
But I can tell you right now, if everybody from tomorrow, and I'm talking about everybody in the world, just had this on its own, with steak, I can guarantee you, chronic illnesses will be on the floor.
That's right. That's
on the floor.
Good.
I mean, with a few of these then.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I said at the very, very beginning, what is the alternative?
Yeah.
Tell me what's the solution? If I get rid of this, it's like, okay, that's the problem right there.
I would take a grain corn-fed steak over beans and rice.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right? Like
100%.
That's kind of thing. So let's get into the clip, boys. We've got a couple, and we'll see how far we go. I think this was the most popular, like when I Googled Kerrygold butter, this was the one that came up on Instagram. So I can't even remember what it said now, but we'll have a look at it and we'll see what happens.
Grass-fed butter is just reprocessed corn and soy as well. Kerrygold Pure Irish Butter actually uses corn and soy feed supplementation to feed their cows as well. Their cows were recently found out to have 15% of their diet from GMO corn, soy, and rapeseed, which can tip the balance of omega-6s to omega-3s to an unhealthy ratio, increasing the risk of things like inflammation. Plus, it's not organic. Now, most of their diet is pasture-fed, and Kerrygold likely has a far better omega-6 to omega-3 ratio than most other butters on the market.
See, he just said it there.
Contradict himself. Yes,
But
contradict
it's far
himself.
better than. So, is this poison or not, buddy? Yeah.
Okay, but it is worth noting a lot of these butters are not 100% pasture fed, and the issue gets even worse when you look at the top butter in the market, Land O'Lakes, which formulates their cow's diet.
Yeah, but that's not butter. I don't think. As soon as you have spread, walk past it.
With upwards of 70% of corn and soy. And if we're eating dairy that is fed with too much of this stuff, we greatly increase the risk of things like cardiovascular disease, inflammation, and obesity. And what's scary is 15 to 20% of the American diet comes from linoleic acid, largely from these feeds. What you want to look for is 100% grass-fed, organic, pasture-raised, and only 2 ingredients, organic cream and salt. Best thing you can.
Okay, before I want to get your guys' take on this. Yes, that's great. How do you know? How
Exactly.
do you
That's
know
what I was going to say. Exactly.
that shit that
I
they're
said the
telling
same
you-
thing. I said the same thing when I watched all these videos. How do you know? How do you know this is real? How do you know this is fact? You're only going off research.
Yeah.
That's
And
all that
you're-
is.
And you're going down the same thing because then all of a sudden one of those other companies come out and say, whoops, it wasn't what it was. And what are you doing? You're caught with your pants down thinking, well, they lied to me. This is
Yeah.
this is
And still,
But like I said, Tony, this was thrown out 2 years ago. This was dealt with 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this is not, as I said, this is not new news here. This is old news. They're scraping onto things here. This is what they're doing. They're looking for all these options to say to people, okay, we've been telling you for a very, very long time that saturated fat is the problem, and here's the proof.
Yeah,
Do you not see where I'm going here? This is what they've always wanted. They've always wanted to prove that when it comes to the food pyramid, we were right and you people were wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at this little orange green little circles there, good, okay. Well, what's 14 points? How does that make 14 points? How does that make it good? And then, one's 56, 170. This is it's the same thing over and over again. Now, if I had a clip, but I couldn't get it. But I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's been around a long time. And if you have a family and you're eating we'll call it a standard diet, you better be following this guy, Bobby Parrish. He always goes to Costco. He does like these deep dives into the ingredients and the quality. Find somebody like that he's like us and he's questioning things, and it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just he goes from obviously years of doing it, but he dissects labels and he dissects where the food comes from, and it's really, really cool. And the same thing he said, Mark, was this is old news. Kerrygold's been like their butter got the lawsuit got thrown out of court. Like we knew this. Like don't go too crazy with all this shit. But anyway,
I mean, Kerrygold butter are not stupid.
Yeah,
they're not stupid. I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure they were told when they were designing the product that we need to make sure we have full control over this. Right? But I can guarantee you the corporations were coming in and saying, well, hang on a second, you're explaining to people that saturated fat is good, so we need to make sure we put our stamp on this.
And if anybody wants to doubt the trust, look at Element. Okay, Rob Wolf, very, very smart guy. I've followed him for a long time. He's very good. He, I guess, was one of the creators of Element, but he gave his packaging rights to a company. They started putting maltodextrin in their shit.
Exactly.
And he didn't know about it. And that
was the electrolytes, wasn't it? The electrolytes.
Yeah, 1% of that stuff being in there when it came out, he had to publicly apologize. And when he actually explained what happened, that's what the whole thing, man. Blew up, yeah. We're so trusting because somebody's a tried and true carnivore. Don't trust it. Look it for yourself. And you know, Max German just did a thing on salt, and he didn't have a lot of good things to say about Redmond real salt with lead. And what you're saying, Mark, is I use Redmond real salt. I've got a lot of different salts, but what is the alternative? Do I just go back to table salt? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't even watch the full movie, the video from Max German, because it cannot. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it cannot be that much. I mean, if you just use some salt, Redmond salt, and sea salt, and whatever.
And
but yeah.
With contamination, like we know this with pesticides and glyphosate, like it's in our world now. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, eat fish and you get it as well. I mean, so, but there's one thing I also disagree with in this video, and that's this hyper focus on omega-6s, because I don't believe that omega-6 fatty acids are inflammatory, and they aren't in principle. Only in large quantities. So if you eat all the ultra processed foods, then you might reach a very unfavorable balance between the omega-3 and 6.
Well,
but
I think
butter is it's like more than 50% saturated fat anyway. So
when you look at like the one thing that a lot of people, you know, the omega-3 omega-6 battle, but it's not. It's ratio in nature. It's what was naturally supposed to be.
Pork is also relatively high, and it's not immediately a problem.
Yeah, and I think that's you hit the nail on the head there, Peter. Like it's all about you know, I just look at it from a natural standpoint, man. Anytime something's been adulterated or enhanced, enriched, fortified, I would say that's not natural. That's my opinion, but I mean, I would have to agree with you.
Check your butter on the Oasis app, where we're also working to lab test all these brands to verify their claims.
Good. That's great. Good for you. But
but anyway, getting back a little bit to the omega-6 story, is that he also made the claim that there is more omega-6 in the butter. And how do you know that it's the case for each of those brands? But how do you know it in the first place? Does this even happen if a cow eats more grain, that it drastically changes their fatty acid makeup? I mean, sure, it does a bit. I mean, if I look at my grass-fed meat versus the grain-fed meat, it's clearly different.
But if you,
but with their dairy already, it's, who knows? I mean, it's a different story again.
You can scale that back to natural stuff like wild fish, wild pasture-raised eggs, beef. Anything that's raised in its natural environment is going to be in its natural ratio. If it's not, why do they have to add it? Why, why do you need to eat omega-3 eggs? If they were real pasture chickens were raised in their, natural environment, it's just an egg. But that's where they get you, right? Like this is, we feed our chickens top only vegetarian. Well, who says chickens are vegetarians, buddy? Like that's is that a deal breaker? What does that do to all the vegans and vegetarians? That makes them go, oh, well, they eat what I eat. That's great. I'll buy those.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the question we need to be all asking is simply this: what does everybody class as a healthy diet?
Yeah, right.
Because we have so many. You have the paleo, you have vegan, you have the Mediterranean. These are probably the top 3 diets that we're all recommended that we should be doing. This is why here.
We can take that a step back further and ask yourself what a species specific diet is. It's not even about healthy. It's what are we supposed to eat? And if you can do that experiment in your head and actually just look at everything, you'll come to I'll tell you what, you'll be way better than listening to them. Right? You're gonna find something that's maybe in the middle, like, it's so important. And you can always scale something back to be better. If you cannot live without broccoli, where the fuck does your broccoli come from? Where is it grown? How is it grown? How is it brought to you? Don't just trust Whole Foods saying it's good, it's organic. Well, they still have to. And
the thing is, Tony, if you're eating these foods, you're eating all these healthy foods, and something's not right. Well, maybe it's the fucking food that you're eating.
That's right. You know
what I mean? Like this is what it should all come down to.
Yeah.
Most people will say that I'm broken. There's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
But maybe you're not broken. Maybe it's because of the food that you're eating.
Yeah.
Just look at what you're eating at the moment. Because I only said it 10 minutes ago. if everybody said, right, from tomorrow, we're going to eliminate everything out of the diet, we're just going to eat butter and steak for the rest of our lives. Like I said, type 2s would be on the ground. Chronic illnesses would be on the ground. Everybody would be in a very, very good, in a good space when it comes to the health.
No,
I'm 100% convinced.
No, I agree. I think that's but a lot of people that aren't in our space don't want to hear that, and it's just
exactly.
Like, is it that simple?
Because fear mongering.
It is that simple. It's that simple. So many of my friends, you hear about these stories, and I'm like, is it worth the suffering and the complaining that you're doing when I just say you should think of changing your diet? Well, no, that's not it. Like, what? How? Like, oh my Lord.
Like, how can you question it? Yeah. How can you question someone who looks amazing, who's thriving, has so much energy?
Yeah.
How can you question that? How? Like,
this is,
I say to people all the time, like, I'm the same as Pierre. I get a block of beef tallow probably once every 2 weeks because it's gone. It's literally gone. It's about that size. It's about that size.
Yeah.
And I have it finished in about 10. I have it finished in about 10 days.
Yeah.
And people are saying to me, there's no way you can have all that. You're on the verge of having a heart attack if you're consuming all that fat. Now I've been doing this for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
You guys know this. You guys are doing the same. It's like, why don't you not listen to this?
Yeah.
Like, this is just common sense. Common sense. None of us are eating the shit that we're told to eat. We were there. We never got the answers that we were looking for. We had to find out these answers ourselves.
You just made a cool. Like, I just thought of something, Mark. Like, I've been doing this for over 5 years now. I'm pushing 6. I'm 50. I just turned 50 last September. That is 1/10 of my life. If I was doing this for 2/10 or 3/10, God forbid, half of my life, what would be possible? Because this is insane how everything that's happened to me has been, and it's just like right in your face. Yeah. This is what, when I started eating this way, everything got better. Everything.
They robbed you from the life that you should be having.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. It's like when you were going through your teens, when you were going through personal trauma. I'm not saying this is the main reason, but I'm just saying it could have been. It's a damn good start.
And if I was 50-50, and I mean, you guys know sort of my story about, like, I've had a serious past with abuse of drugs and alcohol. If I would nourishing my brain, what would have happened? Maybe that wouldn't have all been like so chaotic and crazy. This is where we're like, that's why the new kids like Jonathan and Aaliyah, like these new kids that are doing this. Look at Jonathan's mindset. Look at what he's done, expanding his, like, it's right in your face, man. Mm-hmm. And is it that simple? I believe, yes, it is. It's just, you get caught up with all the Kerrygold bullshit, and then you stop eating butter. Why? Because they're telling you there's 6% linoleic acid in it. It's like, that's details, man. You need to eat real food.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the same with the salt, and I just wanted to point out Lem's comment that he's wondering why fish do live so long with all these heavy metals, and I assume that the question is then, why is it even a problem for us to some degree to get it? If you eat a little bit of salt, you'll get it in the fish or whatever. And I could even imagine that being metabolically healthy, having your systems up and running perfectly, that your body is also more resilient
I would say,
when it comes to these things.
But I told you this. I told you this about 2 years ago, Peter. I don't have any salt in my food anymore.
Yeah.
I just eat beef. That's all. I don't salt my foods anymore. Yeah. Because I'm getting all the sodium that I need in the meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm getting everything I need. And I also eat a little bit of fish every now and again, maybe once or twice a week. So I'm getting sardines, I'm getting in some salmon. So again, I'm getting the salts from those foods also.
Yeah. So you get the heavy metals as well, so you don't need Redmonds for that. And what else is that? I don't know if you eat organ meat. You don't really do that so much, I think. But
Mark doesn't eat the balls.
Okay, but anyway, that are the places in the animal's body where those heavy metals condense as well. So we're not without risk eating these things either.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's something that's like, we have no idea. People listen to that, and I'm not saying blood work is bad to do, but when you're being compared to the average person and your body is running optimally and you're chasing numbers that are average or unhealthy, we don't know what's going on. And there's no studies, there's no long-term blah, 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 but we've never been optimal humans ever.
Absolutely. This is why chasing ketones is bullshit. You should follow how you feel. You will know if you're in ketosis. Trust me.
Yeah.
You will know, because you will have a new lease of life. You will have so much energy. You will feel incredible.
And you know, like what like Lambs just mentioned, like the mercury thing. I knew, like, you look at minerals, how they work together in synergy. I think it's selenium. Selenium nullifies mercury, right? Like it cancels out, or at least to a toxic level. So, you know, I used to worry about, oh, maybe I don't want to eat sushi anymore. I don't want to eat salmon because of the mercury. You know what? Like you said, Mark, I'm eating the salmon, the wild caught sockeye salmon that is, you know, natural. If there's some contaminants in it, what do? Eat farmed salmon that you tell me is better, that's been fed a bunch of shit that they don't eat and died? No. That's not.
And this is what happens as well. So they will do testing of farm-raised salmon, for example, or whatever, or some other product raised in an artificial environment or produced. They measure, for example, no lead toxicity or some other heavy metals, and people get focused on that.
Yeah.
And they forget about all the other differences, all the other nutritional aspects of the food, and maybe other pollutants, and who knows what.
No doubt. And that's once again, anything raised with outside its natural environment is not going to be as good as the natural one. No. Sorry, do we need a scientist to say that? Like, really? Right? That's, you know, call Dr. Nagra up. Maybe he has something to say. He'll be like all about supplement them. Yeah, right. Okay, so now here we go, guys. We can go either to more Kerrygold, or we can get into Jacob Foods, and then we've got something with Mark. Write that down. So
yeah, let's go straight into Jacob Foods. I think we've done enough on the button.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jacob Foods brings to you land-breaking, cutting information that will change your life and make you healthy.
Something else. In America, adults eat. We are obsessed with protein, but deficient in something else. In America, adults eat enough protein, with many people actually getting more than they need. But you compare that to fiber, where only 1 in 20 people get enough. Seriously, 1 in 20. Now, if you're deficient, you might
Seriously.
be fine for a while, but in the long term, it can raise your risk for all kinds of chronic disease. Luckily for you, there are tons of delicious foods that have a ton of fiber. So if you're ready for a more balanced diet, here's how you can get in some more fiber. Start by focusing on whole plant foods like beans, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. And don't shy away from high fiber bagels, breads, and tortillas. They make it easy. You can add nuts or seeds to your yogurt.
Wait. Let's see that ingredient list. Can we see that?
Yeah, at the very bottom. Yeah.
That looks really natural. Eh? Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's the thing. The fiber has to be raised in its natural environment as well, because with these products, the fiber is oftentimes is added. It's like apple fiber or almost like cellulose type of fibers.
That's it. That's a good point, man. Even your fiber's got to be natural. You dummy.
Yeah. And tortillas, they make it easy. You can add nuts or seeds to your yogurt or oatmeal, and make sure you're plenty hydrated, because fiber loves water. Protein matters, but fiber is the thing we're actually deficient in. So if you're chasing better health, it might be time to focus on it.
Okay.
I don't know what to say, lads. I just don't know what to say. Honestly.
Go on, Peter. You sent the clip to our group, so let's go.
It's the usual story with him. He's a smart guy, obviously also making a channel like this, making videos like this and reaching a big audience. He is not stupid. He has also some good ideas about making a reasonable, healthy makeup of a diet.
You're being really nice.
Yeah. But he is not being scientific. He is referring to a lot of science, but basically using terms like risk, terms like deficiency, they are just out of place, and then that's where it stops for me.
Terms like you don't need that much protein. Terms like you don't have a protein deficiency, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting as well, because with protein you can actually show that you are deficient indeed. Yeah.
And I mean, like, before we get your take on it, Mark. Like,
but just the thing is that it doesn't bother me so much that he has this opinion, but he is not being scientifically accurate in choice of words, and that's my problem. So even if he would bring out exactly the same message and be wrong, but at least he would have to add sentences like what it means, deficiency, also define it in this case, and be fair, and always be accurate, because you have a public and an audience that is not scientific for the majority, and you have to always explain over and over again when you're using certain words what they mean. Risk, deficiency, they have a meaning, and I think he's smart enough to know what their real meanings are, and so he has to explain these things, because he's just running some guidelines, basically. That's all.
But he gives me a trust me, I know vibe. Like, just you don't have to, like, I'm talking, so you'll be okay. You just got to listen to what I'm saying.
Honestly, Peter, I thought you were being a little bit nice. I think the guy's a moron. I think the guy's honest to God, I think the guy is an absolute moron. I think
he has way too much trust in those studies.
I think most of the shit that comes out of his mouth is just utter nonsense. No, and like Tony said, he's convinced he's right. He will not come up against the likes of ourselves, the likes of Barkay. He will not come up with these people, because he would be roasted, literally roasted. He's convinced that he's right. We should all back off. We should all go off the research. Honestly, he's possibly the worst, apart from alongside Dr. Nagra, and then the other guy, the guy with the glasses, the guy with the glasses. He's a doctor. You know him, Peter. He's another popular figure. Him as well. These three are and Lane Norton as well. These four are just unbelievable. But unbelievable.
When you take what they're saying, and it's just, like, what I value is, I'm sure all the people in the chats feel the same way, is like, when you've done something so powerful and all you're trying to say is, hey, you know what? We've done this. This is how we're feeling. We don't know how we're going to feel next year, but according to what you're saying that I did and got sick or got broken or got, and came out of that with another way, that's where I have a problem with, like, you just go on to Health Canada or Health Ireland or Health Netherlands and read their shit. And how are you going to do? What are you going to be? You're going to be drugged. You're going to be obese. You're going to be sick. And you're going to listen to these people, and you're going to get worse. That is, I'm not talking science. I'm talking anecdotes, God forbid. But we have hundreds of thousands of anecdotes now. Hundreds of thousands of people that are resolving their health issues that were not supposed to be resolved. That should tell you enough. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I just find it hard to believe how we have these experts all over the world when we look at optimal health. And we know what the most important macronutrient is for the body. It's protein. We know the body needs essential amino acids. We can't get this from anything else. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's 20 amino acids. 9 of them are essential. We know this. We all learned this. We all learned this in school. And you cannot get this in fiber.
Spoiler alert, they're in a certain food group of things that you might want to eat, and they're not in a certain food group of things that are, incomplete.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what? If you want to spend the day calculating your beans and rice to the optimal protein complete, like making sure you get your lysine, making sure you get your leucine, good luck. Go.
And when you look at the elderly now, most elderly people are struggling as they get older because they're dealing with sarcopenia, osteoporosis, their bones are weak, their muscles are weak. Everything is weak.
You go on to Carnivore Evolution and look at their conversation with Hal Cranmer. This guy, Peter and I got a chance to sit down. We haven't put out the interview yet. we got a chance. It's coming out on our channel too. Go talk to this guy who is in charge and owns assisted livings. He's getting people out of wheelchairs with protein. That's it. Yeah, they're ketogenic, they're low carb and stuff, but it's the protein that is helping these people get rejuvenated.
And look at the food pyramid. What was the priority? What was the priority? Eat more protein. This is what they're saying to parents. Get your kids to eat more protein. When you look at the food pyramid, where's the vegetables? Where's the vegetables? Okay, it might be besides. I think it's under or beside. Right. But what's number one?
Yeah,
it's meat.
Yeah.
So why do you think meat is number one?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if it was all about fiber would have been at the top of the tree.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Okay, but it's the food triangle again. So I mean, it's not so meaningful.
That's what I'm saying. The food pyramid. It's when we spoke about it.
The way you say that, you slide it in. It's a triangle. It's not.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When we look at a few weeks ago, we all said that it's a step in the right direction. It's not perfect. There's a few things we're still questioning, but the most important thing is proteins at the top.
But did we see all of Jacob foods? Because I'm not sure.
That was all I have.
I usually drift away at some point, and then I end up in the comments. and in this video as well, I don't think I even heard the second half of his.
Yeah, no, it's like, you know, as soon as he starts, like,
once he starts the first 20 seconds, and I'm switching off.
See, what happens, everybody, is Mark and Peter have these conversations while Tony's sleeping. And then Tony wakes up and he gets like inundated with the conversation, tries to catch up. And then I get these clips and I'm like, I don't even want to watch it because I know as soon as I see his face, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to put it on there. So,
but you know what? But I've seen a change in you, Peter, in the last couple of weeks. You used to be this nice, relaxed guy on social media. In the last couple of weeks, you've been sending me messages. These people are just wrecking my head. You're turning into like me, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's just my my bubble, my social media bubble. But I have the impression that it's really increasing lately. Maybe it has to do with the new guidelines that were released, but it's not directly related to it because it's not that they are still talking about that. I've seen that one in my feed as well. Like at some point, literally every video was containing a triangle, but now it's this fiber story coming back. Fiber being just as important as protein. Some more.
And for all those out there, if you guys have any trolls comments that are ridiculous trolls, we're going to get into a little segment. I think we're going to try and do it next week where Mark, Peter, and I get some pretty fantastic comments, and we're gonna. I'm trying to figure what to call it. You know, trolling, something about troll. But you know, how do you troll? And if you guys have any in the chats, like send it to us and we'll talk about these ridiculous trolling. Because it seems like he's lighting up. Hey, Mark, like in the chats, all of a sudden he's like, you can feel the scorn a little bit. You can feel this is ridiculous. Yeah. Peter. All right, boys. Well, let's get into one final thing this fine Sunday. And Mark sent me something, and you know, it's interesting how this guy spun it, but we'll get into this because we have a little segment called
"These guys are getting richer while you're getting sicker." Write that down. 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 These foods are highly processed, complete garbage, and I can promise you now, I wouldn't even give it to my fucking dog. Write that down.
Welcome to Write That Down. In this episode, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where he came from, but Mark was like, let's handle this. So we're going to do it. Let's see what Mark has to say about it. I'm just going to rewind it here.
Or about ultra-processed foods that all the influencers want you to know. So, this is a triple chocolate cookie wedge from a random supermarket in the UK. It doesn't really matter. It has 400 calories per serving, just a little bit more than that. And it is an ultra-processed food. What does that exactly mean? The first thing to know about ultra-processed foods is it's a categorization that has nothing to do with nutrition. It's all about how the food is made. And what makes an ultra-processed food different is that it's usually made in an industrial facility, so it's not made at home, and it uses some ingredients that you wouldn't normally find in a normal kitchen. In this case, things like emulsifiers, preservatives, thickeners, things like that. Now, here's the thing. If I wanted, I could make something very, very similar to this at home. I wouldn't be using the preservatives, I wouldn't be using a lot of the industrial ingredients, but I could make something that is virtually identical to this, especially in terms of its nutritional value. That means that it would be equally high in calories, it would be equally high in fat, equally high in sugar. It would be completely homemade, and it would have no different health effects from this ultra-processed food. The thing is, a lot of influencers at the moment say that UPFs are bad because of the ingredients that they contain, because they're not things that we have when we're cooking at home. That's not the case. Here's the thing. If you eat this regularly, you're probably going to be getting too many calories, too much sugar, too much fat, and that is what's going to cause the health problems. It's not the additives, it's the fact that this is very delicious, very, very easy to overeat, has no satiety value, so you're going to feel hungry later on, and you can eat loads and loads and loads of them very, very easily. On top of that, it's super cheap. That is what makes ultra-processed foods problematic. It's not because they have certain ingredients that we can't find in the home, it is because they are easy to overeat. So if you make a non-ultra processed version of this at home, it is going to have the exact same health effects if you eat too much of it. On the other hand, if you eat it once in a while, just like you should do with something like this, it's not going to be a problem.
Boom!
Right, right, but that's the first time I've seen that video, because this guy actually blocked me. So it wasn't me that sent it, it was Peters that sent it. I actually had this conversation with this guy, oh my God, before the Christmas, I think it was. And he did a similar video, and I had a friendly conversation with him on social media. And then I asked him the simple question. I just said to him, like, how many years have you studied nutrition? That was the last message. He blocked me.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Peter was sending me this message during the week, and I was like, listen, I can't get into it, because he was sending me on TikTok and Instagram. This guy literally blocked me about 2 months ago.
Wow. Well, I find like there are certain, it's like, you're like, yeah, okay, good. Then boom. Oh, but here's the thing. Calories. Oh my God.
Bullshit.
Calories.
Same bullshit.
Here's the
Same
thing.
bullshit.
You just need to eat less. Here's the thing. It's not so bad when you can just.
It's not working.
It. Like,
I really hate this trick, because they pick out a few things that you see in the typical gym bro and meat bro videos, which are strictly speaking wrong. So if you say that ultra processed food is unhealthy because it's ultra processed, then you're not being accurate, obviously. But what we're saying is that, well, put your bets on not eating it, because usually they are unhealthy. Same with seed oils. They are, strictly speaking, is not maybe the strongest evidence that one-on-one it's damaging. So you should suddenly eat them again. So they focus on this small aspect again, that there is not a super tight evidence that it's unhealthy. So apparently you are allowed to assume that it's healthy and that you can eat it once in a while or even daily. Yeah. Another example, there was one more I had in my mind. Yeah, of course you have the typical thing that Anthony Chaffee says, like, plants are trying to kill us. I've seen dozens of videos where influencers take that literally, as if we do that.
Yeah.
And so they don't even seem to understand our videos, basically. And then there's this thing about not eating ingredients that you cannot pronounce. So yeah, there are some, like, in the Netherlands, I've seen videos of, I don't know, 16, 18-year-old boys bringing across these type of messages. And that does look very silly, of course, if like some schoolboy tells us to not eat because he cannot pronounce it.
It was like that kid. I remember, I don't know if we put it on the show or not, but he was telling us like the nutritional facts of eggs were ingredients. Look at this, biotin.
Oh yeah. That's the video I put up. Yeah.
You can't pronounce riboflavin. Riboflavin's like horrible.
Yeah, and a classic is, of course, what is it? Dihydroxyoxide. So or whatever. I'm making a mistake now, but.
No, honestly, I've gotten to the stage now where I just can't watch these people anymore, because there's no point in having a conversation with these people. They're absolutely clueless. I mean, we've spoken about the calorie model on and no matter which way you phrase it, they just don't get it. Yeah, they just do not get it. You could speak about calories for the next 3 hours,
Yeah.
We could have that conversation, and I can guarantee they would still not get it.
Well, it's simple, Mark. If you want to be healthy, you just have to bake an apple pie and just
That's
eat a
it.
little piece. Eat a little
No,
piece of
you
it,
just need
and
you
then
just
put
need
the rest in the freezer.
you just
You're
need to
good.
look amazing, Tone. That's all you need to do. You just need to look amazing, and you're healthy. You're healthy.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's just insane. It's honestly, it's just.
Yeah.
And like I said, we could have this conversation for the next hour on calories, and like I said, it wouldn't sink in. They would still struggle to understand it,
And
because at the end of the day, it's very, very simple. The human body does not know what a calorie is.
No.
It hasn't got a clue.
No.
Hasn't got a clue. That's not how the body works. The body doesn't function off calories. The body functions off nutrients. You give your body what it needs, and that's how you thrive. That's it. That's what we should be all focusing on. You should be focusing on your health. When you focus on your health, everything outside of that gets a lot better, including losing weight, getting in shape, building muscle. It all comes hand in hand. Simple.
And Mark, has this happened to you? But I've known, and I even know right now, some influencers that I have a lot of respect for. So, for example, a type 1 fitness guy, he's very knowledgeable and he has a very good approach to type 1 diabetes, the one that I follow as well, that we should be not so lenient. We should not accept these fake reference ranges and all these things, and think about what we can improve. But then at some point, he comes with a video saying like, yeah, well, you cannot lose weight because you have PCOS. What a nonsense. It's not hormones. In the end, it's just calorie deficit.
Oh, my God.
And so I end up in a discussion, and especially for a type 1 diabetic, it's very strange to say these things because they are not mutually exclusive. Calorie deficit can be a thing, maybe not 100% accurately, but it's a thing, it works.
Yeah.
But the hormones are an upstream factor that actually determine what is a calorie deficit. And this guy was not able to accept it. He thought I was attacking his stance on calories again, as if I was saying like, it's not about calories. Well, it is in the end, but it has very little practical relevance.
But isn't it a pity that if you are one of these people that you're struggling with PCOS or you have some sort of insulin resistant problem, and you know you're doing everything right, you're tracking every single food that these people are telling you what to do, and you still cannot lose the weight.
Yeah, it's totally useless to see a video like this.
And these people are saying, these people are blaming you. Like, listen, you're not in a deficit. You can't possibly be in a deficit, otherwise you'd be losing weight. It's very, very sad because these people go away, they take on this advice, they question it, they like, okay, there's something wrong with me.
And you can have the exact same thing with diabetes treatment. So in the end, the amount of insulin that you have to inject purely depends on your glucose levels at that moment and your insulin sensitivity at that moment. So put that parallel to the calories in, calorie out equation, and you'll understand that there are a lot of factors. And this guy understands it as well, but he's getting sort of like in a black-white camp. And he doesn't realize that if you have your menstrual cycle or stress, illness, these equations change.
And can I just add one more point as well? I'll add one more point as well, because this is what I've heard from carnivores in this space, that when we become insulin sensitive, which we do eventually over a bit of time, then we should be allowed to add these carbohydrates back in. But why did you become insulin resistant in the first place? You know what I mean? This is what drives me mad when I'm hearing all the time that all of our problems is down to insulin resistance. It has nothing to do with insulin resistance. Nothing to do with insulin resistance whatsoever. You need to look at the root cause. The root cause is your diet. The diet that you're told from the experts years and years and years that continuously fails you over and over and over again. This is the problem. Yes, everybody can lose weight on a low calorie diet. You can eat as less as you want, but you let me know how long that lasts for.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, Mark, because I remember that you sent me this video about insulin resistance, and you were not agreeing with this video. And at first I thought like, well, it doesn't sound that bad, because I mean, insulin resistance, I mean, it's a construct and it's a downstream factor. It's caused by something else, but it is there. So if you have it, of course, it's something bad. But yeah, you're totally right to emphasize indeed that there is something below it a cause.
Because when you look at you know this, Pierre, when you look at diabetes, what do the experts say? They say, first of all, it has nothing to do with sugar. Okay, it's down to the amount of fat that we're eating. We're insulin resistant. Okay, but when you dive into it, diabetes is caused by elevated blood glucose. That's pretty much what it is. Now, what is glucose? Okay, the clue is in the name. Glucose, sugar. So it's like elevated blood sugar. If your blood sugar is elevated, it's going to lead to chronic insulin levels. Now, we all know that insulin on its own is not the problem. No. We all know how important insulin is for growth hormone. We all learned this. We all know how important it is. The problem is when it becomes chronic. Now, how does it become chronic? It becomes chronic by high amount of sugar. If you're mixing fat and sugar together, that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah. So again, you look at the Randall cycle. We know about that as well. Okay. Yeah. So this is where we look at the seed oils, and then we're convinced that okay, these are okay in moderation because most of the shit that we're eating at the moment contains seed oils.
So you know what though, Mark, this is like the moderation argument. We know we've dealt with this before, but I mean, I like to say unnecessary. If something is unnecessary,
don't take it.
Too much of unnecessary means it's going to be bad. Simple. You know, like seed oils are unnecessary. There is
it's not going to be good anyway because something unnecessary cannot be.
Yeah, right.
And nobody's saying that you should not eat a food in moderation. Like you can enjoy food. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy food, but that's once every so often. Like probably once every few months, not every week.
That comes down to tolerable. Like everybody's tolerable. Their tolerance is different. And where their state of their body is at is going to be different. And it's like just something is good or bad. That doesn't make sense. It's always.
And the guy in that sense was right that for many people eating that piece of cake, even the processed form, once in a while, let's say once a month, is probably not going to lead to health decline.
But what
for some, but no, definitely not all.
And it's about the hormonal response you're going to get from that food. That's going to lead to something else. This is why when you look at people and you ask them the question, why can't you not stick to a diet? They'll always say, because I was hungry all the time. Yeah. So that's the problem right there. The foods that you're eating is having an impact on insulin. These insulin levels are going up, and this is why you have to eat every couple of hours. Yeah. So we spoke about this last week, or was it a week before when we spoke about food noise? This is what food noise is.
Yeah.
You're thinking of food. You have this unhealthy relationship with food that you're always thinking about food, but you can switch that off.
Well,
we don't need an injection to do that.
I just did a bunch of videos on emotional eating, and it's like the whole thing is why you're going out of control emotionally in the first place. What's causing that drive to go eat something when you're feeling sad or feeling? It's so much deeper than just comfort food. Like this. What is the comfort food doing? It's not about health or not. You're trying to satisfy something that is an emotional response to a lot of hormones. And, you know, as you go further back, you need to deal with the whole thing. And if you're not satiated, if you're not nourished, what the fuck do you think happens?
Yeah, and talking about food noise, it came up in the comments like crazy. There were like at least, maybe 10 people pointing out that, oh, that looks delicious, that piece of cake. And in my opinion, I even remember from pre-carnivore times, I would not have found that piece of cake delicious. I mean, it doesn't even look nice. No, I would make my own at home with this very fatty with a lot of cacao in it, but not this one.
But if you look at this thought experiment, I don't know if this happened with you guys, but now when I walk into a grocery store and I smell the bread and I walk through the bakery, I don't even look at this shit anymore.
Yeah.
It does nothing for nothing. But I'll tell you, when I was starting this journey 6+ years, 8 years ago, I was willpowered. Like I would walk into the store and directly go away from this because I didn't want to see it. What changed? Why? Oh, wait a minute. Nourishing your brain has an effect.
But
And not only that, Tony, but when you eat these foods, you notice it straight away.
Absolutely.
Straight away, within an hour, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then the taste.
Yeah.
When you taste chocolate for the first time in, say, a long time, when you become fat adapted, it tastes different. You can taste it. It's really, really sweet. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I couldn't understand this. And the biggest one for me was the sodas.
Yeah.
Like the 7 free. I used to drink like nearly 20 of these a week. And I was relying heavily on these. I remember when I introduced these back in, like, I can't remember, about 2 or 3 years ago. It tasted like Alka-Seltzer. It was disgusting. It was absolutely vile. I was like, I cannot believe I used to be hooked on this shit.
Well, that's something that, you know, and people that talk to me say, well, that's just you. That's your willpower. I'm like, it has nothing to do with willpower.
No.
Your tastes change, and you start to gravitate towards what makes you feel good naturally. That's just the way it is. And
But
it's not.
what it showed me, these comments, is also that these people get triggered. Those people that apparently liked that piece of cake, they thought it's tasty. They are triggered by two things: the chocolate and sugar, because they would eat it in any form. If it's just the cheap supermarket version or the delicious grandma cake version of it. Which is 10 times, if you look at it a bit more objectively, if you do a taste test, you'll definitely know that one is 10 times tastier.
Yeah.
But those people in the comments, they see this piece of rubbish supermarket cake and they scream like, oh, it looks delicious.
And that's another thing that happens when people just put people in boxes, like you should be, or this should be happening to you, or you can do this, or you can do that. We are all under different stresses, different lifestyle factors, different hormonal situations. This is way beyond just like, isn't this, do this or do that. Some people have a lot of way more abstainers and moderators. Like, some people cannot touch sugar. If they do, it's over. And others, others can moderate it. I was an abstainer. I can now moderate, but I'll tell you what, every time I do, I am hyper observant about how shit is going. And most of the time, like you say, Mark, I notice it. The next day, I'm a little hungry, or I'm looking for something like, hey, I wouldn't mind having that. I have to really, really check myself. And, you know, that's something that I've done. And it's like, everybody's got to have their own metric, their own way of navigating this, because it's real.
The key word, Tony, is control. Can you control that situation? And I can't. I can tell you right now, I can't. When I have sugar if I add in a little bit of sugar, I'm out of control. I am out of control. I become addicted very, very quickly. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, but for me, that's why I have to be strict. And if I want to continue thriving and being healthy and making sure I'm in full control of this situation, this is what I have to do. And when you look at like Michaela Peterson, okay, she was in a similar situation. She couldn't experiment because she had to do this to fix her autoimmune issues. Now, 8 years later, she's able to reintroduce foods. I'm hoping in a couple of years, or next year or the year after, I'm able to do that. I really do. Because I would like to do that. I would like to go back and see, well, I would like to have the food that I used. I won't eat too much of it, but I'd like to experiment what I can get away with. At the moment, I can't do that because I'm still going through that healing process.
And I mean, yeah, exactly. And if you're looking at Peter's situation, his body doesn't give a shit if he loves sugar or not.
Yeah.
You got.
And for me, it's a safeguard. I mean, I will have bad blood sugars if I go the wrong way. So it makes it easier in a way. That it sounds strange, but
fair enough. Because if everybody treated themselves like a type 1 diabetic, it'd be a different ballgame. It'd be eye opening.
Because it's nice. I mean, I could eat this. I mean, this is from my son. I would eat the entire jar, but then 3-4 hours later, so that would be in the middle of the night right now, I would have elevated blood glucose for several hours, trying to get it right again.
Fair enough.
And I would be mad.
We don't want you no more throwing insulin pens across the room, Peter. We We need your focus, buddy, because he's getting feisty, Mark. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I don't know, but
well, boys, it was a great one. Thanks for being here, and everybody in the chats, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate your support and love, and just please, if you don't mind, like this, subscribe, do the things. We're trying to get this message out there to the world as best we can, and we are here every Sunday. But Peter, any last thoughts, and where do people find you?
You can find me on Low Carb Perspective, as the Low Carb Perspective, or I don't know how to say it, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and that's the Dutch Carnivore for the Dutch version of me.
The Dutch version. And Mark, my friend.
I would just say, I hope you guys really enjoyed the show. I mean, we love doing this show. I mean, we love having these conversations. We love having, because at the end of the day, there should be a second voice out there, and that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to give you guys a different option instead of all this scaremongering all over social media. So we hope that if you are watching these shows and you are listening to these shows, like Tony says, give us a like. It would mean the world to us. And if you could share the video, that would be even better. And if you guys want to reach out to me, just look for Fitness Beyond Time. I'm on all platforms. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. And if you guys are looking for any help, reach out to me. Send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com. And as Tony mentioned at the very, very beginning, I also have my podcast, another podcast with a lady called Victoria Olsen. It's called The Carnivore Evolution, and we interview amazing guests. We have guests coming on from all over the world. These are just random people like ourselves, just ordinary people, with just unbelievable stories. And make sure you stay tuned this week also, because we have 3 guests coming up. So on Wednesday, we have a lady called Dr. Jocelyn Foran, I think her name is.
Yeah.
And we also have a guy from the keto space. He's going to be coming on with us on Thursday. And we have a lady called Lisa. She was a vegan for over 30 years, I think it was. Wow. And then she eventually came into the carnivore space.
Lisa's been in the chats, and she's a fan of the show, and we're excited to have her on. And so we're gonna be ripping these live, everybody. We're gonna be doing it. Join us if you can. Of course, you can catch it on the replay. And please do like and subscribe to all the channels. And that includes Carnivore Beats. Byron, we love you, buddy. We do appreciate everything. He's got a new album coming out. So follow him. He'll keep you updated with all that stuff on TikTok and on YouTube. Of course, we are proudly supporting the carnivore community worldwide. Fantastic conversations. Go to their Instagram. Follow them on YouTube, guys. If anybody hasn't done that yet, go subscribe to their channel on YouTube, because they're trying to do the same kind of thing. They're trying to get this word out. They've got how many members, Mark, do they have? Oh my, they have loads. They have a good few, yeah. Now there's 30 core members, and then there's thousands of followers. So that we do appreciate that. Of course, Mark and Victoria. Victoria also hosts a Facebook group, Carnivore Diet After Age 40. So if you're in Mark and Peter, or Mark and I's realm, not Peter, because he's not there yet, I don't think. Are you, buddy?
Sorry?
How old are you, Peter?
41.
Okay, so he is. So if you're a carnivore, or you're getting there and you want to check it out, Carnivore Diet After Age 40, Victoria's Facebook group. It's great. Lots of good stuff, information. And of course, if anybody's curious or wants to reach out to me, you can find me at TonyStewartCoaching.com. I'm also at Tony_Food for Thought, and I am doing a new mission, and I'm going to come after GLP-1s. I'm starting to help people rebound from the shit if they're ever lost or they got messed up. I think it's time that we have a united voice against all the glorification and celebrity status. And if you're really seriously messed up and you need some help, I'm going to be starting to focus on helping people resolve that stuff. And it's one of those things. I don't think it's going to get any better. I think a lot of people are going to be hurt by these things because they're either going in blind or they're doing something wrong. And just remember, I'll just leave it with this. If you eat less of a shitty diet, where do you think you're going to be at? So just because you're eating less does not make you healthy. Very, very important message. And I'm sure we'll all talk about a lot of this because, you know, it's kind of dear to our hearts. So, and we are here live every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands and in Europe. We are the Meat of the Matter podcast. That is Mark. He is Peter. Help us out. Follow us. Subscribe, like, all the goods. We will see you, I think, on Wednesday for the next live. And, of course, every Sunday. We'll see you later, everybody. Thank you very much.
See you later.